Okay, well, I got that far before I remembered. Get your camera. I mean, that thing I had, the experience I had yesterday with the bikes of wrath. I mean, it's really interesting how that happened. Just the not only the coolness of meeting those guys, but just the occurrence, the space and time. I mean, I'm going to be 65 freaking years old in about a month. And those guys have never done something like that before in their life. That I know of. And here these guys are from Australia, and they're on a trip from Oklahoma to California. And that our paths literally crossed. I mean, I was at a stop sign, at a stoplight, when they crossed right in front of me. I mean, the chances of that happening is got to be 100 trillion to 1. I mean, my goodness, come on. I wonder what the chances of that happening. Well, to a person, I guess it would be, living in this time right now, it would be 7 billion to 1. It would even be greater than that. There's 7 billion people. It only happened to me. Well, it happened to the other people at the stoplight too. But just the sheer possibility, because if I would have chatted an extra 1 minute at the store, or chatted 1 minute less at the store, or whatever it was, I would have missed those guys. I would have missed them. So it was the absolute perfect timing, like a miracle. It was unbelievable. And that while those guys are out there doing their thing, to me it was an inspiration. To see some guys that they're sitting around in Australia, and somebody read The Grapes of Wrath and or whatever the story was, and then, wow, we should go and do that. We should all get on our bikes and go to the United States and go to Oklahoma and then ride all the way to Bakersfield and do that. I mean, how many times have you heard a story like that, and how many times has it never been done? Every single time it's never been done. So these guys, to actually pull that off, to actually come up with the idea, organize it, and actually pull it off, I mean, my goodness, this is just, that's got to be one in a 1,500 trillion million to the 18th power moment that I experienced there. And it was really, I better get out of the way before this guy runs over me. This is actually a little bit of a community area, and then I almost get run over. Look at the size of these freaking plants. So, anyway, I don't know how I could ever, those kind of moments happen all the time, actually, but just not like that. I mean, how do people meet their wives or their husbands, and, all those things. And I'll tell you a story about that. I met my wife, oh man, this is a long time ago. There was a guy who was running for sheriff of the county in which I was living. There's a place called the Hot Springs, It's a really interesting thing. It's a hot spring that comes out of the ground in New Mexico, and the water comes out like 30 million degrees. It's unbelievably hot. And they had one time they had a little hotel there or something many, many years ago. It was all torn down by the time I was a kid, I think. And so anyway, you could go out there, and so there was a big party out there for the guy who was running for sheriff. He was running for sheriff. He was a guy who got out of the military, got out of the Marine Corps, and he was running for sheriff. Well, so a buddy of mine and I went to that party. And so at the party, there was this woman there. She was only like 18 years old. She was there, and she had been traveling around the country and wound up there. And I met her there, and she and I and this buddy of mine were out. We were away from the main party, just kind of like walking around, exploring stuff and everything. And then all of a sudden, who comes? The police. The police come, and so they're busting the party. And so she and I and my buddy got my vehicle and got out of there. And that's how we met. So, I mean, come on, that's one of those moments as well. So there's a lot of those kind of moments. It just so happened that that moment, those kind of moments sometimes, change your life. And the meeting the cyclist guys, it was just a great moment for me because you could see that they're all just so bright-eyed and full of optimism for their lives, and they're pulling it off. They're doing something great. This is going to be one of the great adventures of their lives, and I got to be a small part of it. And it was really more. It was better for me to meet them than it was for them to meet me. So I'm just very, very thankful that I got a chance to bump into those guys. And so now the reason I came back for my camera is because just in case there's another moment like that happens, I don't want to be without my camera. And that's going to be a good thing. And I won the camera on eBay, so my new camera is on the way, or should be on the way soon. And we'll see what that thing is like. I have no idea, but we'll see what that's like. Okay, I'm Rodney. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye. Those are the Sandias over there. Albuquerque's on the other side of that, and those guys are halfway to Bakersfield. Oh, and I called a buddy of mine who's a cyclist in Albuquerque, and he would have been happy to have hosted those guys because I got in touch with him on Facebook and left him some messages. But my buddy, his brother-in-law died, and he's on his way to LA for that. And the other guys I called, one of them didn't call back because he didn't even get the message maybe. And another guy, his place is not suitable for that kind of thing. So, I also called a couple of TV stations and alerted them to the fact that these guys were coming through town, and tried to get them some more PR while they're here, and try to get them a place to stay. I ended up sending them a message on Facebook for them to stay at the university right there in town. There's a university golf course, and I let them know that the golf course is open on 3 sides, and so they probably ended up spending the night at the golf course. So that would have been a lot better than at some abandoned gas station. They can sleep next to the green. All right, I'm Rodney. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.